Nerds, what's up? Today is a very special day in the world of Harry Potter because it is the anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts that happened in the 7th Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So because of all of this, I decided to do a collaboration with some of the awesome people here on YouTube to talk about our first experiences when we read the 7th Harry Potter book. So let's get into this. The first time I read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, I was in high school.
The Deathly Hallows came out during a summer when I was still in high school. I took my Deathly Hallows book everywhere with me. I was so proud of it.
I first read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows when I was about 11 years old.
If I had to describe my experience reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in one word, it would probably be vivid.
At that point, I was old enough to really understand what a fandom was, and I was hardcore obsessed with Harry Potter.
I don't really have a very coherent memory of reading the 7th Harry Potter book. I just remember a lot of the thoughts and feelings I felt, so I thought I would reenact them for you guys.
We were poor, and so we could only afford one copy of each for me, my mom, and my sister, and we would take turns who would read it. My sister would always read it first because she read them the fastest.
I was over at my friend's house with a few of our other friends.
I hadn't been spoiled. I didn't know who was gonna die, and I wasn't prepared to lose some of my favorite characters.
Wow, this is gonna be so much fun getting back into Harry Potter!
I remember getting all dressed up, my Hogwarts attire, and going to my local bookshop where I was the 21st person to receive a copy at midnight. So that's one of my life's greatest accomplishments.
Who I did end up losing because, you know, J.K. Rowling is pretty brutal at the end of Deathly Hallows.
I started reading immediately. As soon as that book was in my hands, it was open to page 1 and I was just ready to go.
They decide that they want to go somewhere. They came into the room to come get me to go with them at the worst time.
I wasn't allowed to go to the midnight book release because I had to leave at like 6 a.m. to go to performing arts camp the next day.
My parents are divorced, so I remember being so mad because I wasn't able to go to the midnight book release, but my mom went.
I have so many clear-cut memories of me holding the books in my backyard, on my couch, on my bed.
Here I was sitting by myself, book in my hand, and our little Dobby just died.
Wait, who just died? What? Hedwig? What?
I couldn't bring the book with me because we only had one copy, and my mom and my sister were like, you're gonna be really busy at camp, you can't take the book, we need the book.
So obviously every Harry Potter book is amazing, but I think Deathly Hallows is one of my favorite ones, and it's one of the most memorable experiences.
I got my copy of the book, and I went home and locked myself in my bedroom and just sat and binge read that book until I was done with it.
For some reason, every single time I read a death in that book, I was on the couch. So like halfway through the book when we're getting towards the Battle of Hogwarts, I'm thinking to myself, if I don't sit on the couch, no one can die, right? Because they've all died while I'm reading on the couch thus far. That was my logic.
I didn't get to read this until a week after it came out, and that would have been okay if when I got to goddamn camp, everyone wasn't reading it.
She finished the book in less than 24 hours so that I could bring it with me to my dad's house.
And the finale of the whole series, the whole Hogwarts battle, is just so wonderfully done, and I think it's one of the best battle scenes in literature ever.
I had taken off into another room to be able to sit and read this book. Now, why I didn't just stay home, I don't know.
But I think my most vivid memory of reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows also happened to be on my couch.
They are immediately concerned. They don't even associate it with the book. Oh my god, what's wrong? Like, what? Are you okay? What's going on?
I did not leave my house. I did not go to sleep.
So this is my copy of the Deathly Hallows. It is very battered, it is completely cracked, and that is because it has been read many a time.
My dad was mad at me because I wouldn't go anywhere with him that weekend because I was like, no, I have to read Harry Potter, like I'm not doing anything else. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah.
It pained me the whole week that I couldn't read it.
Why are they all dead? Fred, Tonks, Remus, Colin Creevy!
Really just hadn't seen it coming, and it just hit me so hard for some reason because I'm not a huge crier during books, but this just hit me particularly hard. They just sat there stunned.
That can't be true about Dumbledore.
I was getting to the very end of this book, and I'm the type of person that always likes to know how many pages I have left, so I'm very carefully just flipping the pages all the way to the end to see what the last page number is. And for some reason, the gods have cursed me. The only thing I see is 3 words. 3 words that ruined my life. Moldy's gone. Moldy.
It was painful, and I remember at one point being like, yeah, I heard maybe Dumbledore's not dead, and this girl in like my dormitory was like, yeah, he's not, and I was like, why would you say that? But it was a stupid spoiler because he is dead.
Did Dobby just seriously die?
So I remember knowing exactly when it was going to release and going to my local Walmart and standing waiting for them to open the section that had the Harry Potter book.
These friends of mine were not huge readers, so they weren't particularly concerned with the fact that I just spoiled them about Dobby's death. What they were concerned about was the fact that I was crying over a book.
So from the moment in the book where Harry and Ron and Hermione escape from Gringotts on the dragon, from there until the end, I just remember having these heart palpitations.
Grab it and I run into the living room and I sit down with it and I don't get up until I've read the book. I haven't seen my family in 8 days, and I get in that house and my family's like, oh, so what do you want to do now they're home? And I'm like, where is that? Like, where is it? Where's the book?
Everything hurts, and I want it to stop. All is well? No, it's not all well.
And that was the whole dilemma of not knowing at the time, is Snape baddie? Obviously I was young, I assumed Snape was bad. He was mean to Harry, therefore he was bad in my books.
They actually took the book from me, like they pried it from my hands. Why I let this happen then? I don't know, I'm not proud of it. Hid it, because I tried to go get it back, and one of them shut the door.
My dad had left, and I got to the scene in the train station and I'm just bawling. Can't breathe because there's so much snot in my nose, and they come home and they're like, oh my god, are you okay? What's wrong? And I'm like, Harry Potter is dying.
My mom came downstairs at like 7 a.m. to make her coffee, and I'm up and reading it, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, shut up, Mom. I'm reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
I just remember every time somebody died in the book, I would run out of my room, go in the living room to where she was and tell her who died, just so that somebody could feel the devastation that I was feeling over that book.
So pretty much as you can see, I was just an emotional mess while I was reading the 7th book, and let me just say, I have never forgiven J.K. Rowling for killing Hedwig, Colin Creevey and his brother, or Fred.
Like, you know Peeve's stupid little rhyme at the end of the book that goes something along the lines of, it's over, it's finished, Weed Potty's won, Moldy's gone moldy, and now let's have some fun. That was the story of how I got spoiled for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
There's things that are similar in popularity, like Star Wars or the Hunger Games, but there's no argument that there was ever anything remotely close to this.
And they're like, maybe you should take a break. And I'm like, no, I can't take a break. Are you kidding?
I am still a bit torn about Snape. I think I like him. I think he's redeemed enough. I mean, he was still pretty crappy to Harry, but
I have to find out what's gonna happen because Harry Potter is dying.
And I mean, I'm a little salty about Remus and Tonks, a little bit.
the deaths that occurred in this book completely tore me up. Like, for example, the loss of a Weasley member and the way that the whole family got together and the whole family reacted to it was just so heartbreaking.
They did hide the book from me because they felt it was unhealthy for me and that I needed to get a life outside of the book.
I did finish the book and I continued to cry, and all I wanted to do was restart it, and they were like, oh good, you finished the book, now let's go hang out.
They still want to read Harry Potter, and they still want the magic to take them away, and now we're gonna get Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on July 31st, and we're gonna get Fantastic Beasts and we're gonna find them in November, and it's just great.
I think that was probably the first time I cried at a book, because it's not often that you find a book that can make you feel so much for the characters and grow so attached to them.
That's just one experience I'm never going to forget, because I remember needing to have that book and to sit and read it all night till I was completely done.
I am too emotionally riled to do anything right now. All I want to do is restart the book.
Also Dobby! Oh, all the deaths, all the deaths.
The next day, I decided to stay home instead of going out with my friends. It was a very good idea, considering that I ended up crying again when we got to the Weasley tragedy.
They were very upset with me that weekend.
I had just as an amazing time in my room devouring this book, you know, in a couple of days' time, and this really is a very special one for me.
All in all, I had a fantastic time reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Every single time I reread it, I'm just totally brought back to that moment of first reading the book, and I think that's the most precious thing anyone can have for a book like Harry Potter.
Reading that book was just so memorable for me because I knew it was the end of the series. That is what made me love reading, so it's always going to be close to my heart.
It's just great. This is such an important story in everybody's life, and it's gonna live on forever.
Harry Potter love is real.
Oh, hope you guys can relate.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to comment down below what your experience was when you read the 7th Harry Potter for the first time, or when you went and saw the movie for the first time, or any really awesome Harry Potter experiences that you have had. A lot of us hold Harry Potter very near and dear to our hearts, and I just want to share that with everyone. And I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!